This is the Power of OZmosis podcast, powered by the Vidwheel Creator Network. Hi there, this is the Power of OZmosis podcast, powered by Vidwheel Creator Network. I'm John Osberg, your host, welcoming Steve O'Keefe of EmergenceTek Group, software development, app development company, as well as Greg Shoemaker from ARCA. We're actually off-site today. Usually we do it in the client's office or their space, but today we're actually at ARCA's warehouse, and we're going to get more into who ARCA is and who ETG is. ETG has been featured before. This is going to be a slightly different format where we've got one of ETG's clients, ARCA, sitting here, Greg Shoemaker, and they happen to also be clients of mine, both of them. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me, and thank you for your business and support. Welcome. How are we doing?
Good to be here.
Good.
Doing well.
All right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you and good to be seen, not viewed. So we're going to jump right into it here. We're getting extra juicy. Steve, why don't we talk just maybe an intro on who you are and then obviously about ETG too, please.
All right, great. Yeah, my name's Steve O'Keefe, Director of Professional Services at ETG. Been there about 5.5 years now. I mean, you were there when I first started. So, I grew up as a developer, but more so ran into Director of Professional Services since I've been here at ETG. Roles kind of changing a little bit here now, where I'm actually working with the customers, more of a customer engagement role. EmergenceTek Group is a professional services company, staffing company. We've done a lot of custom software development for a lot of local businesses, a lot of different industries, a lot of healthcare.
Yeah.
But basically, over the last year or so with COVID, we actually did a little bit of a pivot here where we've really been pushing the AWS cloud, cloud development, cloud computing. So obviously still doing all the other software development as well and consulting, but we're also really doing a heavy push, got a lot of certifications for AWS. I myself actually got AWS Solution Architect Associate certification over the last couple of months, which is pretty fun. Yeah, a lot of work to get that going, but there's a lot of learning involved. But yeah, so our team, we got a lot of people certified in AWS, and we're really making that cloud push, which is exciting.
Excellent. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. How about you, Greg?
Well, it is exciting, and I'm happy to be a customer client. You guys have been great to us. I'm Greg Shoemaker, president and founder of ARCA, serial entrepreneur. For those of you that don't know what ARCA is, we're a reverse logistics provider offering resale and recycling services in the reverse supply chain. A little complicated, be happy to explain it.
And we'll get into that, but you're so polished in saying it. It actually sounds simple to me.
I've said it once before.
Yeah, once or twice. A couple interviews, a couple podcasts here and there. You're just on some podcasts. Maybe do you ever disclose like the acronym, like what it is, the Asset Recovery Company of America? Yeah, so Asset Recovery Company of America. Pretty cool name.
People hear asset recovery and they think debt collection. Not even
yours. We're talking like hard assets, physical,
and the divestment of those assets. Divestment and recycling.
Pretty cool.
Those assets,
Pretty cool, G.
It's fun.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's just a full circle moment for me because, again, as stated earlier, these are clients of OZmosis, early adopters. A lot of support, a lot of gratitude to you guys. The work that we're doing. One of them is being on podcasts like this. What's cool, though, even cooler, I guess, another level to it is that the reason that this is we're all together and the relationship, sitting here, ETG and ARCA, is because, I remember hearing, Greg, from you some time ago. I forget now even how long it's been, probably end of last year, maybe earlier part of the new year, or earlier than that. And I remember hearing Greg was, having wanted to, I would use the phrase, take a look under the hood of the technology behind ARCA. And the things that are going on here and their rapid growth. And I just so happened to work for a software development company. It was my first employer out of college and have stayed really close, hence our working relationship now. So I put ETG and ARCA together, and I guess the rest is history. So that's part of why we're here, just to unpack how it started, which was through me. Great, who cares, I guess. But really what matters most is how are the two of your companies working together? What's ETG done for ARCA? ARCA had maybe some gaps, some areas that needed to be addressed. So I'd love to unpack that for whoever wants to start, whatever makes most sense.
Yeah, definitely. So we have a very particular piece of our process where we have to take one set of data and we have to transform it into this other set of data. So exploring solutions to be able to do that, we had found a development team and they wanted to build us this widget to do this. And what we thought was going to be an 8-week project, it turned into like a 15-month runaway train. And I don't mean complete runaway. What we built worked, but when you start building software, if you're not looking at it from this holistic approach, you fix one thing and something else breaks. And when we started talking to ETG, we were absolutely just sick of the breaking and the going back and forth. By you looking under the hood, we were really able to fix and contain what we already had. And now we're on a path to building version 2 of that. And, my explanation of it is very non-technical. I'm sure you could elaborate a little more on it.
But as a business owner, yeah, I mean, it's good insights though, right?
Yeah.
Good insights from you. And it's important because, and I know Steve will talk more about this, but this is, it sounded simple in your high level kind of, I guess, pitch or whatever, elevator pitch, but we'll soon find that it's certainly anything but. So, yeah, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I jumped in, obviously my first goal for you, from what I was tasked to do, is look under the hood, like John mentioned. So I went in there and see what kind of risks you might have. Where you may not be able to scale great, or you might not be able to, if something happened to this warehouse, your data might have been lost at one point. So that was a big risk for us. So one of the things that we did with this cloud, and now we're pivoting there, is that we were able to take that that database and take it off a server that's sitting in your warehouse where something may happen, heaven forbid that it did. But, that application now is sitting in, AWS now. So we have redundancy there. We have, security there. And that was one of the main pushes that we did, was to get you in a more stable spot. And then, we identified some other things as well, like when you're trying to import 2 million products, because obviously this warehouse is full of stuff.
It's a pretty cool backdrop.
Yeah, it is a good backdrop. I like it. Getting that 2 million products into their system, your system would have trouble loading some of your screens, or, even getting that data in the database and being able to run the application the way you did it before. So when you guys first grown, it was working fine for you, but now you have 2 million products that you could potentially get in the system. We want to make sure we did that. So those are a couple things that we were able to help out with.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for us was the security aspect and the reliability aspect. Did you ever see the server side?
What's that?
The server side. So the first server that we had was literally just this beefed up computer sitting in a cubicle in the office.
Kidding.
And we had a sign that said server do not touch. And obviously that's so detrimental because all your data, all your code, everything you need is on that server.
One machine.
One table bump, one anything. The
coffee.
Things, coffee. Yeah.
Bad actors, hackers, anything. It's one central location to go get into.
So we're very happy to be in the cloud. AWS is this super complex monster. From someone in my shoes, you hear AWS and okay, that it's this spin-off of Amazon, but you don't really know what it does. And having you were able to guide us through that process and really educate us on what it is and things like redundancy. It's been very, very crucial.
Yeah, and right now you're in a hybrid model right now where people are still working in the warehouse off their local machines, but those local machines are actually pointed to an AWS database. So your data behind the scenes is protected. Now we're talking about this, maybe potentially version 2, but those are things that we can think about, like how do we get you to the next step of that? And I think it's worked out great so far.
Yeah, likewise.
Steve has certainly had his fair share of experiences in different industries with different business owners, stakeholders, you name it. I know you hinted on healthcare, Steve, but ETG does a lot of work in so many other verticals, and now they've added, what do you consider yourself? I guess like a supply chain type company. And so one thing that I know Steve and I've heard from our conversations outside of this podcast, and even in the prep, was that Steve brings a wealth of knowledge along with the other members of the team of not just tech, but also business. And so I think it's cool to talk about maybe some of the consulting work that you've done by going in and digging into the business and helping him understand, Greg and team, kind of how they should navigate using technology.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I've heard the same story that you gave today about, kept building things on top of the Access application that you're doing, and slowly integrating pieces as you go along without that holistic approach. That's where we come in. Our consulting really helps out with thinking, coming into your office, asking the questions of what your business doesn't do today and what it should do in your technology platform. And that's one thing that us coming in there hopefully is helping you out to ask the right questions. Sometimes when you're really laser focused on a certain report or something that you're trying to get accomplished, you may not think, what is that going to affect the other two parts of the system. And then now you got one thing that's kind of not working, but this one is kind of working. So, getting, ETG involved and me involved, that's where we come in to try to get that vision out for you. So you can actually, when we do grow into a larger, application, you're thinking about everything.
Right. And that's been one of the biggest things for us, is looking at it from a holistic sense. Because like I was saying, when we got started, we just built this one little widget, and exploring what that widget could do. All of a sudden, hey, here's a new feature.
Yeah.
And because in the beginning we didn't look at it from that holistic sense, it turns into an issue. But not only were you guys able to come in and help us navigate that and give us that holistic sense, but typically, we're in a pretty complicated industry. You guys were able to come in, understand it top to bottom. It's not easy stuff, and we touch so many different verticals, different types of products, different business models, and the gliding that you were able to do was just so impressive. I mean, from talking to you day one, we were in.
Definitely took a little bit. There was a lot of different clients, customers, who's who, and stuff like that. And obviously all your selling platforms that you have, and learning how you get all this product into the selling platform so you can sell. And I even just was it just yesterday when we were meeting, I learned about the types of wholesale stuff that you do, and like the auction stuff that you do. So there's still a little bit more to learn, obviously, and I'm sure there's definitely more to learn. But yeah, I mean, the key is to make sure you understand that, because once you understand that business, it makes it easier for us to put a solution in place, whether we build that solution or propose a third party to handle some of your stuff. I need to get that information, or I can't, provide the best service to you.
Right. One of the things that I liked so much about you was that, and ETG, that it wasn't an all or nothing model. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to get on board and commit to this huge development project. We were able to do half in, half out. We were able to use you guys to oversee and project manage an existing project through another development firm. So that way we had extra resources on our team. We had someone to clarify it. I don't know what the scripts and code and all this stuff. It makes no sense to me, but being able to talk to you, you were able to break it down in very simple to understand terms.
Yeah, and I tried to do that with the trying to schedule those tasks. Remember how we set up the swim lanes of where all your stuff is? I know that was a concern you brought to me at one point, and you're like, sometimes I know there's 4 or 5 things maybe on a notepad or something, but where can I go find out where the status of adding this feature into my system? Because obviously you're still adding features into what you have today, but trying to organize that in a nice central spot so you can actually just kind of click a button, just go see where everything is, and utilizing me to make sure that people are getting those things moving.
The amount of Post-its that I've had to purchase ever since you guys is way down.
Nice.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, me over there.
It's in line with your Office Max or whatever. It's in line with those were the beginnings, right? I mean, you mentioned the server, computer, beefed up, whatever machine, and it just goes back though. I mean, I think this might be not exactly totally on script, but I think it's exciting to highlight the locality of the companies that are sitting at this table right now. EmergenceTek Group being a 8 or 9 year old former software development startup, now bustling, small mid-sized type business, employing several resources, but also then ARCA, same deal. The growth you guys are having, the innovation you're injecting, the wanting to work with local and have obviously boots on the ground. It's just, I don't know, for me as an outsider looking in, it's exciting. And it just, when you said that about the server, whatever, it reminded me of when I was part of ETG way back when, and we were out of an apartment. And so it's like, it brings you back, because entrepreneurship is such a hot topic now. And it's kind of sexy, but really it's a grind. It's a battle. You're through the gauntlet every single day. And it's cool to see 2 companies that have gone through the gauntlet. And I'm sure you still have your challenges. Of course you are, especially with COVID. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because it's exciting to hear. Totally off script, but not that we wanted to be on script, but this is the stuff that keeps it going. Are there other things that we can highlight a part of the projects that you've done? I mean, Greg, can you think of things that you've mentioned some of the peace of mind that's been created, the efficiencies that have been created, and working with someone local again, but I'm just trying to sound this out here. I mean, there's so much that I'm not privy to all of it. You guys are, but I wanted to be the conduit of having you guys on the show.
I think one of the heavier lifts we had early on was doing our database pre-import. So when we're bringing equipment and materials into our facility, there's a lot of products, and those products have product data. Years ago, in the early days, even before the server side, we had to go online and scrape the information. Well, that's silly because the information is out there. It's just how do you get it? So we had went out and got information en masse, right? And there's different versions of that data. So we had duplicated it 6 times. I think we ended up with, what was it, 6 or 7 million records that had to be imported. I mean, that's a big spreadsheet. And obviously it's not a spreadsheet, but like
6 to 7 million.
Me navigating that, there was no way that I was going to import that information into the system and make sure the tables communicated. Steve really saved us on that. And now the result of that is when we're bringing products into our system, instead of having to key in every last little bit, you can scan it, you can type in the part number, boom, all the information is there. It cut our processing time down by like 10.
And that's important too, like that data, to make sure that the people intaking that don't get the wrong data, because that data is directly going into the system, which in turn goes into your selling avenues, and you're making descriptions and titles on that. So if that data is off, then you got like bad information out there. And obviously I assume that's pretty time consuming for them to go try to search. I've seen some of the stuff and I don't even know. I actually had something at home. I was like trying to find an NPN. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but
yeah. That's pretty cool. And data's everything now too. So instead of having to have manual processes that can take up so much time and cause anxiety or stress for your employees, this is so nice to have everything automated and clean and in a way that's usable.
Yeah, but part of the, I might have mentioned earlier, but part of that import, because you had so many millions of products, that's one of the reasons why that, SQL database that you had that was sitting in that, in that server needed to get upgraded, because the size was just bigger than what the capacity of that, database was allowed to have. So getting up to AWS now, it doesn't matter if you get 100 million products,
right.
We always have that to automatically scale, and that's, pretty minimal cost in AWS to get that going. And now you don't have to worry about getting another beefier machine that might explode at some point.
And you guys being AWS certified is pretty impressive. I remember a couple of years ago, I had kind of stumbled into it and I looked in the dashboard for the first time. I can't say that I'm tech illiterate, but I'm not to the level that you guys are. I was beyond overwhelmed with all the different options and the programs. It's like, where do you even begin? And having you guys get that certification, that must have been such a process. I mean, what was that even like?
Yeah, it was a big process. I felt like I was back in college and school, not even school, like because with COVID you can't go in to take these exams because AWS give you they're very strict exams. You're proctored. They got a TV looking at you, and the one time I was sitting there going like this, and they're like, "Please remove your hand from your mouth," like you buzzed in, like I don't know if they thought I had a cheat sheet on my hand. So
Jeff himself called you with the hand.
Bezos, baby.
But
that is crazy.
So yeah, the associate architect exam was pretty tricky. There was a lot of study in there, but it was a good growth. And actually, currently I'm going through a data analytics one, which is basically a specialty exam, because I grew up as a database guy, as a back-end developer my whole life. So that was something I have an interest in, and a lot of the data warehousing and ETL work and stuff like that. AWS has so many services that you can kind of just use pretty, right out of the box, and just with some configurations, and there's so much stuff there. And so I'm taking that now. It's actually a lot of fun, but that one's going to be real challenging as well. Well,
thank you for doing it for us.
And it's not just you too, Steve, right? The team. I mean, even Brian Lehman, the CEO, Bab, I think they've done some.
Yeah, I think
you have developers that are all certified and everything.
Yep, I think about half of our developers, I don't know the exact count, are all certified now with the cloud, cloud practitioner, and we got some, architects as well. So yeah, we have a lot of certifications out there now, and it's only growing. So
well, good.
And I see that even becoming more relevant for the future clients that you guys have, especially with this pivot away from working in person to remote work, giving us the ability to access our internal program from anywhere was key for us, and I could see other people needing that.
Yeah, depending on how much you want to work from home, right? But yeah, now you have the ability to go on your Amazon workspace and go and log in, run your reports, and do anything you want now instead of driving to the office. So that's definitely a key. Obviously being remote as much as we can now with COVID, that's one way about it.
Well, to carry a theme from the first episode we did with your colleagues, Garrett and Bab, thriving, not surviving, and that's been the theme. 1 in 5 small businesses, small, mid-sized businesses, are shuttering their doors, sadly. That might be worse now with another lockdown that's either here or looming, whatever it is. And I hit on that in the first episode, and it's true. I mean, to see the ways that ETG has, used technology to facilitate virtual connections where you're staying in touch with its staff, but then also to reinvest in a year that could be viewed as obviously one of the worst years of our lifetimes. To reinvest, the earnings or whatever the growth that ETG has seen is kind of what I'm saying. To take that and have the confidence to reinvest it into its people, into its infrastructure, and to go pivot like that takes a lot of gumption. And it was said also in episode 1 with ETG, so I want to say it again because it's cool to hear it here, and from you too, Greg, to hear your experiences with Steve and the staff, and they're again, it's a testament, I guess, to kind of the way that ETG works with its clients. You guys care about the client more than just, hey, it's another billing client, whatever. You get into the business and really understand what they're doing so that you can help optimize whatever it is they're doing.
And on that note, thrive versus survive, with everything going on in the world, businesses are closing, they are experiencing hardship. The cool thing about a firm like yours is that you can rent before you buy. You don't have to commit to getting a whole development team, full stack, front end, back end, database guy. You can engage a third party like an ETG, get you to where you need. I mean, how many hours a week have you put in for us? It's not 40 all the time. Sometimes it's a lot less than that, and we can dip in and dip out as we need. And in thriving, not surviving, sometimes getting exactly what you need, not too much, not too little, is thriving.
Yeah.
All these small businesses, it's spot on.
That's well said for the smaller business out there that doesn't have a huge payroll to expend.
Yeah, it's, the flexibility of ETG, I think, is one of our benefits. I mean, we always make ourselves available. I mean, I just know the people that work there. Like, anytime you need something, you'll be able to reach out and somebody's going to get back to you pretty quickly. We're going to be there for you guys. And I have great owners at our company as well that allow us to have that flexibility and not, pack us so much that we don't have time for our clients. And I think our clients definitely see that because we're always there for them. And whenever they need something, we're pretty flexible on our on our staffing and on our needs. So
we can attest to that for sure.
Well, I've enjoyed hearing this. Some of it's been new to me, but other parts, that I've known. But cool to see two companies that, again, how old is ARCA now?
Going into our 5th year.
5th year. And to see you guys do what you're doing, man. I told this man in my right, he'll be on Forbes or Entrepreneur cover in the next couple of years. I'm telling you right now. I don't want to do humble guy, but he'll be there with what you're doing here, and it's cool to have ETG a part of that story and have me part of that story. It's a privilege to be with you guys. So, unless there's any last remarks, I think we well covered the relationship that has come about, between the two companies and the innovation focus. And again, like you said, like we both all said, thriving, not surviving is the theme.
Well, what's the thing that gets you most excited about working with a company like us? Like, what are some of the funnest challenges?
Trying to take my job, Greg? Trying to take my job being the host here?
No, I'm curious to know.
It's a great question. No, I'm just being funny. It's a great question. Well, that's a good one to end on.
Yeah, no, I mean, as people that know me, I know John knows, I'm very client focused. I mean, we're all client focused in nature, but I just really enjoy finding somebody that might be in a solution that is working, but maybe need some help, and bringing that expertise. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years now, and just meeting with somebody and seeing the fruits of that and seeing where that goes is just, I love it. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why. I mean, I like developing as well. I mean, the database stuff is really exciting for me, but the reason why my career kind of grown to that path of business analyst and project management and consulting is that I just enjoy helping other clients get to where they need to go with technology, and having that technology background helps me do that. Some consulting, if they don't have the technology background, may not do that as easily, but me knowing the ropes, that I just love that. I love making people get to where they need to go and seeing businesses thrive, especially small businesses. I mean, we work with a lot of big healthcare organizations, but trying to get somebody, going on their platform is great, and just asking the questions and learning business. I mean, you learn a lot. I've learned so much about just asking.
No day's the same for you, Steve. Huh? Yeah, and same for you, Greg. That's for darn sure with all these products. But that's the exciting. I think one of the most exciting elements of it.
Yeah, one day I'm meeting with Greg on how his warehouse is going to get changed, and another day I'm working with other people, like completely different
industries,
a restaurant trying to get a mobile app so that they can do their ordering online, as opposed to as opposed to, with COVID, they can't have anybody in the store. So,
I'm thinking of something.
there's so many different, avenues that we have here, and it's always different. And then you got your healthcare. It's always a challenge too. It keeps your brain going.
Sorry to be talking about you, but is that a Hot Mule shot out there?
Hot Mule is one of them that wasn't, but
okay, so it's a different one. Cool.
But yeah, Hot Mule is a cool mobile app. I don't even know if you know about it, but it's a basically.
Greg, are you a beer drinker? Well, that's probably part of why.
Yeah.
Is that an uncut? Is that an uncut cold brew?
No, I made that. Death Wish.
Nice. The quick Hot Mule. I mean, it's just a mobile app where you can kind of pre-order beer and go pick it up. Like
who doesn't love beer?
Yeah. Who doesn't love
Go
beer?
Bills.
So a lot of local breweries are on there, and basically a way to help the local breweries. But maybe nationally, it's a little mobile app, little product that we got going on.
That's a passion project, kind of. Was that Resurgence that was an early adopter of that, or part?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Investor,
Resurgence. Yep.
Jeff Ware.
You guys have Android and iOS?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten really into the web development, but we do a lot of development that is responsive for web applications. So on web browsers, but they also can go on your mobile phone as opposed to going and downloading it on the App Store and the Android. So we do a lot of that, progressive development that helps shops that maybe don't have a lot of money for to pay, but they want to build something on the web. But ultimately, if they want to port that over to a mobile application, it's pretty easy for us to do. So it's actually a pretty neat thing to kind of get started, see how things go, and then maybe we port it over to a mobile app later.
Nice. That's awesome.
Well, it wouldn't be right if I didn't ask you something to close it out. So, Steve, I really enjoyed hearing that from you, Steve. And the passion is evident in what Steve does and what he what he's good at for ETG and everything else. But Greg, for you, I'm trying to think of a good question to finish with you on. I mean, I would say we've already talked a lot about the relationship between the two companies. But
are you just mad that he asked the last question?
No, I want to hear from him to close it out. Since Steve had a great, Steve's was really good. I actually kind of surprised at how good it was. No, yeah. Kidding. Just something about ARCA. What's something that you really have been enjoying the last 6 to 12 months?
Something that's been really cool for us is that we've really been able to live out our mission and give back and help out. Obviously we do a lot of things and we make money and we grow the business and stuff, but the amount of opportunity that surrounds just us in general, not just me, but everyone on the team has things going on, side hustles, charity work. It's been really rewarding. Even just outside of these four walls, the collective picture, look at what's going on with you, look at what's going on with you. It's been really cool, and it's been fulfilling beyond my wildest dreams.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about you, Greg. I'll defer for the audience here, but
Thanks.
You're an incredible man, and Steve, you too, brother.
I thought you were going to just pass on me, but all
right. No, this has been fun. And it's so true, and that's another cool piece to the two companies is that you're both community focused. You create livings for the employees that are working, for your brands or for your companies, and you also get back to the communities outside of just employing people and giving them opportunities to make a living. So, in a time where that's most needed, kudos to you guys for weathering the storm, and thank you also for allowing me to keep my lights on by helping me get some work with you guys and help expand in places that you want to get expanded in for your businesses. So it's been a lot of fun.
Anytime.
Steve O'Keefe, EmergenceTek Group, Greg Shoemaker, ARCA, John Osberg, Power of OZmosis. As I always do, thank you very much to my friends at VidWheel. Video Creator Network here, all this media setup, lighting, microphone, all the support afterwards, the editing, production, wouldn't be possible without them. So thanks a lot, Neil and Morgan and team. We'll see you on the next Power of OZmosis podcast. Thank you.